Hello everyone, this is Kyle from Mill Street Garden, and today we're starting our winter sowing. So winter sowing is a technique where you germinate your seeds in some sort of jugs or containers outdoors. And the reason why I think that winter sowing is a good idea is because you grow the seeds in the cold during the winter, and a lot of the seeds have cold stratification needs, so the seeds need to go through some sort of cold treatment to break down their seed coats in order for them to germinate. So we have a bunch of tree seeds and some shrub seeds that we are starting to get ready for winter sowing. So if you're interested or you've never seen this technique before, follow along and I'll show you what we're doing today. Alright, so the first thing we did was soak our seeds. All these seeds down here have been soaking for 24 hours. So if you look at the seed packet, this is our gas plant that we had, Dictamnus albus rubra, or rubra gas plant, purple flower dittany, purple bush rubra, gas plant for common name. It says scarification, which is how it starts to soak in the water into the seed. It says soak in water, let stand for 24 hours. So it's been soaking for 24 hours. The cold stratify for 90 days. That's what's going to happen when we winter sow these. And then germination is sow a 1/4 inch deep, tamp the soil, mulch the seed bed. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to show you the other seeds that we have really quick. I'm going to swing around. Oops. So we have Aralia, Spinosa, Devil's Walking Stick. And you notice some of the seeds are floating and some of them are not. Apparently, if they're not floating, there's less of a chance. If they're floating, there's more of a chance of them not being viable. But I'm going to try all of them anyways and see what happens. These are all new seeds. This is a Serviceberry called Smokey. The first one we're going to do is this gas plant. We have the Juniperus Virginia, the native juniper. We have two types of Rosa Rugosas. So we have Rosa Rugosa alba and Rosa Rugosa rubra. We have a Cornus florida, a white flowering dogwood. Sargeant Crabapple, which is a crabapple that we already saw. It's really pretty when it blooms in the spring. It doesn't grow very large. And our persimmon trees. So we're going to go through the process that we're doing for these right now. So like I mentioned before, we're sowing in these jugs like this. So I'm just using 2-liter soda cans because that's what I had on hand. And it's going to create a mini greenhouse for the seeds. So I'm going to fill the bottom of this with some seed starting mix. So I'm not using potting mix, I'm using seed starting mix because it's a little bit looser than potting mix. So we got filled up like this. And then this first one, the gas plant, it says to sow seeds 1/4 inch deep. So I'm going to tap down the soil a little bit. And then, oops. Here it is right here. You gotta make sure that you have tags, and we use the garden markers. Has alcohol-based ink so that it won't wash away in the weather. So these are the seeds that have been soaking. I'll pour away this water. And I'm just going to put them on the top of the soil, basically. Now, this is pretty densely packed. If you're doing this at home, you can plant less seeds. But my game plan is I'm going to sow heavily, and then as the seeds germinate, I'm going to tease them apart and then put them in. I'm going to tease them apart and then put them in their own pots or smaller pots. So I'm basically just using this as a germination mechanism / growing them out just for a little bit. Alright, so I got the seeds in there a little bit, and then I'm going to put a little bit of soil on top because it wants to be a 1/4 inch deep, just like that. So all the seeds are covered and they're nice and moist, but not too moist. And we're going to put a name tag, remember what it is, like this. I'm going to take the top off the can just so it can get rained, and we're going to tape around the outside. So we're going to put all these in a location that's sheltered, but we'll get sunlight during the day. And the thought process is they'll get their stratification needs. So they'll get their cold treatment, and then precipitation will come in through the top and keep this moist. But there's also drainage holes on the bottom, so any excess moisture will drain out on the bottom of the container. And then it creates like a mini greenhouse effect. So come, like April, I would expect to see some seeds start to germinate. And the benefit of the winter sowing technique, besides getting the stratification needs, is you don't need to harden off the seedlings because they're already kind of like outside, instead of like starting them under grow lights or something. So what I'm going to do now is get the rest of these guys into their jugs. Alright, so I'm going to read the directions for each one of these as I go. Let's find the next one I'm going to do. So we'll do the Rosa Rugosa alba next. So it says sow seeds 3/8 of an inch deep. So basically 1/2 inch. Yep, we'll do that one next. So this is a white Rosa Rugosa. Alba. Rosa Rugosa alba. So we're using a coconut fiber. We're using a coconut fiber seed starting mix. And it's wet where it's pretty moist. Might be a little bit too wet actually. So it should be spongy and not have too much moisture in it. This is like a Miracle-Gro or something, or a Burpee. And it says it has fertilizer in it, which isn't ideal. But I looked at the package and it's very minute amount of fertilizer. So it got filled up like that. And then I got my Rosa Rugosa seeds. Oh, so it's easy to see. You know what? I'm just gonna pour them out there. Oops. And there's tons of seeds in here. There's like, I don't know, like over 50. I could split this between 2 or 3 containers if I wanted to. But I'm really just using this just to germinate them. And I'll be putting them in their own containers pretty fast. So, got that like that. I want to get them pretty evenly spaced. And then add some soil on top. Like that. Now, if you only do like 5 seeds per whatever or less, has a lot of growing room in it, so you can let these guys grow in the container for a little bit before you would have to transplant them into the yard. So the benefit of doing it this way, like I said before, potentially is you don't need to harden off the seedlings. When you start seeds indoors, you have to grow them under grow lights or in a window, but then when you bring them outside, you have to, the first day, have them outside for an hour and then bring them indoors. And the second day, you do it for 2 hours and then bring them back indoors. The third day, you do it for 3 hours or something like that. Where this, it's already outside, so it's already exposed to all those sorts of elements, so you don't need to worry about hardening them off. Alright, so now we got the soil in the containers, we got the seeds sown in the containers, we got the name tags. I gotta do the final step, which is to tape the container shut. So I got some packing tape over here. And I just gotta find the end of it. So I'm just gonna wrap it around to seal the container a couple times because you don't want it to come loose. Alright, so these are mostly seeds that need 120 days of stratification. So I'm doing this in January, and I'm going to put this in a part of our yard that's sunny, but it's also protected from wind. So I'm going to put this semi-close to our house, but in an area that does still get sun for most of the day. And that's all there is to it. So I'm just going to check on them every once in a while, make sure they're not completely dried out. If you lift them up and they feel light, just make sure that you add some water to them, because right now they feel heavy. If they feel light, that means they're dry. Other than that, come April, I should start to see some actions in these containers. So if you have any questions about winter sowing or seed starting, please make sure you leave them in the comment section below, and thank you for watching.